Oh no no, Mazide for studio. Oh no no, Nigeria done the waka. Oh no no, wetin we go talk today now? Wow. Good evening, everyone. Mazes okay once more here, speaking to every one of you. As usual and customary, it might interest me, and it does interest me as usual to actually know where you are watching me from. Can we hit the comment section and remember to subscribe if you haven't done so. If you have, ensure that you share this video. Today we are going to be looking at a couple of issues. As quick as possible, we have to make it snappy. As quick as possible, we have to make it snappy. Thank you once more. My name is Mazi. Is okay. So this evening we will be looking at the expose that is Emir Sanusi exposes Buhari's government as it regards to corruption, as it regards to, or rather, with regards to removal of fuel subsidy. Obviously, I do have my views on that. And we will eventually look at the WWF between Chris Okotie and Odumeje. You know, the pastors are fighting. The pastors are in Barakboism mode. They are basically fighting each other and they're threatening each other. Over what? At the end of the day, in my view, it is about tithe. Tithe is good as long as it don't come near my pocket. So, after that, we're going to look at Afghanistan, what is happening in Afghanistan that is really, really scary. It would bring us to a point where we would ask, should Nigeria be worried? We will conclude with, does God actually speak to most pastors? Because we see some of these pastors, they make wild claims. You know, if I take two bottles of hero, I might begin to see some, you know what I mean. But here it is. We recently saw a pastor who said that he was performing miracle in the person of what's it called again, Suleiman, and money was landing into people's account, and I looked at it. I said, "Man, that's not worth my time because that is arrant nonsense." But sadly, you see adults sitting down there actually deceiving themselves, knowing that whatever they were saying was totally wrong and false. Oh, man of God, pastor, I got my own alert. The Holy Spirit paid alert. I said, now, wow, which Holy Spirit? Which account number is the Holy Spirit operating? Have you people used your brain for karo karo? Man, anyway, that is it. And that is where we are. We are going to start. Before we start quickly, I have Kachi here. It says, Maz, I greet you. Greetings, Maz. That is a Ma for G. Mhm. And Maze for Ndibo, the Asian people, part of the ancestors. Tochuku and Jemba, namesake Oreri. Wow, Oreri, Aguatani. Wow, we are everywhere. And has Buhari ever been honest? He is corrupted, nepotistic. Nepotism is corruption. He allows his family and friends to steal. Well, DSS, take note. I just read out what Kachi Echi. Uh, what a funny country. We must always put disclaimers before they jump my fence. My fence is so dwarf fence before they jump it and breaking through my wall. But let me quickly start. No, we say in Nigerian parlance, no time for dulling. Let me quickly bring Emir Sanusi to deliver his punches to Buhari. Then we would start. And I would, in between, probably pause the video and add in my own commentary. That is the only, difference here. And that's what we do because we do analyze these things. So everybody, go grab yourself tea, coffee, water, anything, palm wine, vice beer. See my own here. I have my what's it called again? Franziskaner weiß wir, das ist, es ist schon mal Abend, ne? Müssen wir auch. Okay, Leute, calm down. Why did I? Okay, people. I think I was over already moved to a different language. Sometimes my brain works faster than my mouth. Okay, so now we've moved to a different level. We are going to start today's analysis this evening by bringing and inviting Emir Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, to actually say those things that he said over the weekend in Kaduna. Emir, you may take the podium now.
In 1980, Nigeria's GDP per capita on a purchasing power parity basis was $2,180. In 2014, it had risen by 50% to $3,099. According to the World Bank, where were we in 2019? 2,229. At this rate, in the next 2 years, in terms of purchasing power parity, the average income of the Nigerian would have gone back to what it was in 1980. And
this is unbelievable. In the next 2 years, that means by the time the current government has finished squeezing us, mopping us, doing everything, imaginable with us, their incompetence and whatnot. By the time they finishes with us, by the time they finish with us, we will be going back 40 years later. You know what? Who incidentally is in charge of running the affairs of this nation 40 years ago? I just clear throat. 40 years later. 40 years later. That's where we are headed. Countries are moving forward. But because of our mumunes, we have decided to be setting ourselves backward by electing cucumbers and carrots to supervise the affairs of men, women with grey matters in between their skulls. How tragic. How tragic. What a catastrophic tragedy that has befallen us. Emir Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, the former CBN governor, is saying this.
how many years? 40? No progress, zero progress. 40 years wasted.
I see no reason why you guys should be clapping.
Between 2014 and 2019, on the basis of this index of the purchasing power of the average income of the average Nigerian, we had wiped out all the progress made in 35 years.
Say it when you say it, nepotism is not good. The same emir talking, the same man talking here as a cent, was used in 2014 that he referenced. When these guys were teams, when I started having some atom of respect was when you see this man speaking, Adam Soshomola, the Viagra mounted, khaki wearing, what did I say? Ignore, wipe it out, cut, take two. The khaki wearing NLC chairman. When they all met, and for the first time, they were explaining, the video is still on Channel's platform. They were explaining to Nigeria the why it is needed for Nigeria to remove subsidy. Subsidy payment is part of the reason why you will never ever make progress, because you're basically feeding the rich. You are basically feeding the rich. It's going to hurt, yes, but sadly that the people in Mumud fashion, led by Tunde Bakari, even Buhari himself, they protested in January of 2012 when this subsidy was removed and subsidy was reinstated. Here we are, and the monster is still coming afterwards. And why can't we? Okenna or Diego, why are you putting an angry face? Please, if you don't want to watch, you can go to somewhere else. It's not, you know, if you don't want to watch, you go to a different place. Okay, so for those of you who just joining me now, I'm still Mazes. Okay, can you kindly like this stream? Okay, so I just made a note of something. So people, so when you know that this is the same man, yes, he canvassed and he knew all these things, but again, he allowed himself to be used to pull down the previous government, knowing fully well when he said $40 billion was or whatever was missing, to the point that Goodluck Jonathan at that point said, "Well, if such amount was missing, America would know." That led to the famous Asari Dokubo's comment, where he was making jest of Jonathan. But here, see, the good thing is, 7 years later, here is the same man. The Messiah they thought was going to come and save the nation. Well, those of you who hated the Igbos, by standing up then to say this guy is not going to help us, I think we should be giving any Igbo person you know now, you should be giving them one keg of palm wine. And it must be original one without water. Because these are men, original men, who know when a product is fake and when a product is original, and when a product is Taiwan or Chinese. And they saw this product, and they said, nah, this product is original fake. But many of you Nigerians, you cuss them out. You say they hated him, they do this, they do the other one. I say now, people, how market? Are we enjoying it? Are we enjoying the party? Because as it is, we are enjoying the party. Are you? You enjoying the party? Are you happiness small? Are you not happy because of the party?
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we're happiness more.
Inshallah, your happiness more. So you have voted. Let's go back to 2014-15. You have voted. And this is the people we are making jest of us. We have voted. Now you're voting, your happiness more, right? I wish I can get this man to interview him again and ask him if he's still happiness more. I want to know what he will tell me.
We have a responsibility as a people to rise and improve the life of the people of this country. It's no longer about the government, it's no longer about political parties, it's no longer about rulers, it's no longer about emirs. The days are gone when you see one class of people, whether they're emirs or civil servants, cannot talk, or they cannot do this, or they cannot do that. Those days are gone. When there's a fire in your house, everybody goes and gets a bucket of water. So we need to understand economics as a people. I think we have little understanding of how economics works. We need to understand the implications of the choices that we are making. Because, 70% of the problems we have in this country, from insecurity to herdsmen and farmer clashes, all of them have their roots in economics. It's about resources. Even this shout for restructuring for this, it's about resources. We need to grow this economy and make it work for the poor people. And since I wear two caps, and yes, I had this is a summary of my economic interventions. At the level of the North and at the level of Muslims, we need to look hard at ourselves and question the choices that we have made.
And continue to make. It's not only about the choices you people have made. It is the choices you have made based on parochial, nonsensical, linear way of thinking. And the choices you are still making, breeding an army of young, innocent monsters that you're creating. You pamper yours, you mold yours, you send them to England, America. They listen. The monsters that you refuse to tend today will be waiting for you tomorrow. It is not yet too late to start. It is not yet too late. You can do all these fine speeches if the people you are speaking to are still deaf and dumb. Your doomsday has just bought a new gym kit. Is about to enter the gym, and we'll start with pumping it up. Give that young chap 6 months to 1 year. You're talking about 2 years. 2 years is too far. We've seen what happened in Afghanistan. Don't worry, we'll come to Afghanistan. You will cry. I've seen a video today that I have never seen something like that in this world before. I have never seen aeroplane running on runway. People are, the way we used to hang a 911, those wooden 911. When they are moving, you just hang like monkey. People hanging on aeroplane today, not yesterday, not tomorrow. And when I look at those things, look at how easy it was for these people to take over the seat of power in Afghanistan. Bearing in mind that we have sympathizers, even when the government has confirmed so, the previous government the same with this element. Nigeria is sitting on a keg of powder, on a keg mixed with gas. The lighter is being held. Who is going to light it up or who is going to extinguish it? Sanusi, the people, your people must do the needful now.
And if we cannot make those changes, and Ibrahim Ado spoke about a law, and Bashir Ali spoke about it. We got scholars in Kano to sit for 3 years to draft a Muslim code of personal status that begins to address some of these concerns. That law was ready in 2019. It has not been passed. I also sent it to the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, the governor of Plateau, and said, look, in case any state government wants it, give it to the governors. I have not heard anything back. We keep talking about poverty in the north. We keep talking about Almajiri. These Almajiri, I keep saying, did not produce themselves.
You see, he's saying it, but it stops at the realm of saying it. The Almajiri children did not produce themselves. Two adults, two consenting adults, two adults, Iberiberized adults met. They tangled with themselves and they produce these children. Children that they had no iota of idea, no iota of plan on how to take care of. And someone tells me it's religion. I say, no, it's not religion, it's wickedness. Middle belts are also Muslims. You don't see that kind of nonsense. The great Yoruba nation, the great people of Yoruba land, they have a very large amount of Muslims there. You don't see such nonsense from that place. Why is it from certain part of Nigeria that you see this majority abnormality when adults will have children without any plans of taking care of them? No one talks about that these children are abused sexually and otherwise. Nobody talks about those. But these children have virtually no future. How can you develop on earth by just reciting a Quran? Sorry, Muslims, I'm not trying to play down on your religion, but people, it's just like expecting that by reading the Bible alone you become something in life. Come on, come on. You must learn something. That you go learn a trade. Even the father of Christ had a job, carpenter, that he learned. Even the disciples of Christ were people who had, professionals. How can you just read Genesis to Revelation, and eventually it transcends into you becoming something in the society? You only probably be quoting it for the gullibles that you can be collecting some little of their changes and yank it in your own pocket. How can children reciting Quran, how can that lead them anywhere? It leads to only one thing: brainwashing and erasing of that critical part of your brain. That critical thinking takes a flight through the window. That person becomes a mummunized human being. Anything, someone might stay in Denmark and draws up a cartoon, and probably someone somewhere would probably lose his or her life. That's what it leads to. People are training a standby army for what? The world is moving ahead. People, wake up. The world is moving. The world has left you behind. Do not leave yourself behind. The world has gone. It's not interested in you. We'll keep talking. Sometimes, some of you go and get earplug, plug it up that you cannot equally hear.
I keep coming back to these issues. I know people don't like hearing them and they keep saying, you've said enough. No, we will continue to say it and say it until people get to understand. That if you cannot maintain one wife and you marry 3, if you cannot maintain 3 children and you have 17, if you leave those,
You can't maintain one wife. You marry 3. So your job now is to be an ambassador of the Azar room. That's all. The Kwakrekwa Meister. You produce children that sometimes, I don't know how. Do others think that if you want to have 8 children that you can't, or that you're incapable of producing 8 or 10 children? There is a reason why you see progressive minds have limited number of children. Even some places now in Europe, because of development, because of someone, trying to make something out of life, even bearing children becomes no longer attractive. But here, in this part of the world, here, men do not have hobby. Their hobby is in the other room. Kai amariazo anam akoi, eh? Oh dear, Emir, I bring you back. You continue, man.
children on the street, if you don't educate them, if you don't give them training, you're going to have them grow up into young men that will be a problem to our society. The youth that you see on drugs, those that go into stealing and kidnapping, they are all products of that social system. We have to ask
Amajiri,
ourselves, is this what Islam said we should have? Are these the children?
please, please, please don't mix this thing with Islam. It has absolutely in Mecca, in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia, whatever it's called, in Dubai, in Oman, in Qatar, you don't see them have this number of children. Leave them amajiris. Your people must begin to take responsibility for Christ's sake. There was a time, even in the South, people gave birth. At a time, child mortality was so high. People gave birth to so many number of children with the anticipation that at least if I have eight, if three or four dies, that at least I have something to fall back. But now the medical science is getting so, it's now so good, even when still not accessible to many, but at least the medical science has had some improvement, a lot, that people no longer die. I had a program yesterday with Professor Suago, and he said something that blew my mind. He said that before an Igbo child died, that it must be negotiated with the ancestors, and it must be negotiated also here on earth. Metaphorically speaking, what it meant is that it's very unlikely for just like the husband of the queen that lived 90 something years. Real reason why he lived up to that point is because of the medical services that they had access to. When Queen celebrated 80, 85 or whatever, that he accompanied him, sorry, he accompanied her, and rain beat him that day. He got pneumonia. Everyone thought he would die, but he survived. Why? Because of the Medicare. Medical science is not religion, is not something that teaches you to hate someone of the other religion. It's not something that teaches you if somebody insults your God or your prophet. Because listen, if your God or your prophet is so powerful, go strike the person that insulted him, not you. If you're going to fight for your God, that means your God is as good as non-existent. So your God can fight for himself. So, at the end of the day, the bottom line remains that this is the issue of amajorism is nothing to do entirely with religion, because it's going to be very wrong to pin it down to Islam, because there are other practices, other areas that practice Islam, the same Islam, that do not have this wickedness of a class system. Go again. It appears to be a recruitment center for all the Boko Haramites, for all the bandits, for everything that you can think of that is evil. That's where their root comes from. So, and you have men driving in SUVs like mad people, going up and down, yet they are unable to even speak to that matter, talk less of doing something to stop the madness from continuing.
That Islam said we should have. The fears that we have are grossly unfounded. If you're told that you can go out, and as Kingsley said, when we started the banking reforms, I remember on the eve of the banking reforms, every day, full page, front page of newspapers, the CEOs were at the villa. They were friends of the presidents, president after president. They were oligarchs. They were untouchable. I remember when we started going after the bankers, someone called me and said, "You know, you're a young man, you don't know what you're doing."
You see, this statement he just said now is one of those typical, it's typical. It cuts across both, be it Yoruba land, Igbo nation, the Fulani enclave, the Hausa, Mumuye, Ishekiri. This is one of the things that they use in suppressing the spirit of any progressive upcoming young man. Oh, you're young. Why would you want to do this? How can any nation, any state, any entity that worries about someone speaking truth. Any entity that worries about what will happen to someone speaking truth, but not to someone doing evil, is a very sick society. So many times here, people write me private message, Mazi, take it easy before these people come after you. I say, come after me for what? Have I do fact check? Have I ever given on this platform something that is false out to the public without that being retracted? Intentional? No. So why should I be worried about speaking truth? But the person who is committing crime, as he just alluded to now, the person who is committing illegality, committing the crime, nobody talks about it. Oh, I talk about a former governor who was jailed, came back in Owerri, and the people he was oppressing, the people he stole their money, everybody came, line up the street, clapping. So you want me to join them? You speak such truth, people will start inboxing you. Oh, man, this, that. I say, what is wrong with our brains? You angry with me for speaking up truth and calling those people out that they were idiots until tomorrow morning. That's what they are, for coming out and lining up a thief. That's what he is. He's a confirmed thief. Stole your money, impoverished you. You come out and clap for him on the road and line up and tell him he's the best thing that has happened to you. The one that has stolen, you do not see any time, any way you want to go and do justice to him, but it is the one that speaks the truth. Come on, people, wake up.
You will not succeed. What have we done today? So far, three, I think, or four of the wealthiest and most powerful bank CEOs in this country have gone to jail. And nothing happened. You know, you can fight any system. You don't need a large number.
I agree.
And people can have temporary power that they can use, but the truth will always prevail.
That's why it drives me nuts. That people will be saying, "Oh, Buhari this, Buhari the other one," and he's not a wire. He's not a wire. I mean, even when we crack it as joke, and he's there. Anti-corruption chest my foot, and you were there. Nobody's gone to jail, for Christ's sake. Nobody. The ones that you've seen jail, the cases that PDP them started, the and Co. Which one have you? Which one have you? 6 freaking years. And anyway, the thing just sometimes Ni- wallahi, Nigeria is just messed up. And what's it called here? Timmy saying, if he wasn't dethroned, will he be saying this lot? He's talking about Sharia economy. Well, I think in fairness, you see, what many of us don't like is someone being fair and balanced. In as much as I have points here that I have taken up with Sanusi, and I pointed them out, but to say that he wouldn't have said these things, I don't think it's fair on him, because the reason why he was dethroned ab initio is because of these things he was saying. He was saying that he was a prince, an emir. He should not speak about these things. At least even from day one of the things I can vouch for him is there's a child marriage and multiple wives. But at the end of the day, he married a very young girl. He has so many children. So to me, it's follow what I say, not what I do. I would have wanted a situation where, like many others before him, he probably stuck with one or two, and maybe two children or so. so that you can actually say, this is, I believe in it and I'm doing it, I'm practicalizing it, but not just saying one thing and doing the other. But so on that note, I think, in fairness to Sanusi here, he has been one of those very few, I choose my word carefully here, one of those very few that has actually been speaking up. My only issue is he knew about these things when they all worked for the election of an economic illiterate. That's not an insult, but that's a statement. Please take note.
When I was suspended from the central bank, I gave an interview and I made a famous statement. I said, you can suspend a man, but you cannot suspend the truth. And this is the truth that has come out. This country, as His Eminence the Sultan said recently, this country has a problem. We can't ignore the fact that things are not working. When you are in a society that is so abnormal, you cannot afford to be a conformist. Because if we all conform, the country will not change.
That's a fair point he made. If we all are conformists, if we all just want to do it as written in the book, the country would never, and no nation ever changes. If everyone got used to that telephone dialer that we used to dial like this, then if you want to lock it, you go close to that hook there and put in that little key, and you can't go. But we had a way of also bypassing that. But that's by the way. So if people were just comfortable with that type of telephone, cables everywhere like mad people, if that was comfortable with people, then there wouldn't have been more advancement in any research, any R&D, nothing. But it's because of some people who are resting, who believe that in most cases, status quo, when it overstays its welcome, should be questioned and queried. And once that is done, that's why you see progress. That's why you see progress. On this one, I agree with him 100%.
Many years ago, when I was screaming about the trillions being spent on fuel subsidy, I remember there was actually an attempt to attack my house in Kano. I was in the central bank. Where are we today? We are face to face with the reality that this is unsustainable. And when the decision is taken, it will be even more painful and much more difficult than if we had taken it 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
On here, I agree with him. I agree with him here as well. The decision, sometimes looking back, I would have wished that the protest of January 2020, 2012 did not happen. The protest that saw the reversal of that total removal of fuel subsidy. Again, we even missed a bigger chance of reversing that, that same, or rather removing that same fuel subsidy when the oil price plunged. It was a classical and the best time to have removed it. The moment oil price starts coming back, then we can begin to readjust. By now, everybody would have been used to it. We would have had more money for infrastructure development. Politicians probably would have had more money to steal because that's what they are very good at. They don't steal it by pen, they steal it by oppression. So, at the end of the day, well, when they steal, they kind of do whatever they want. But the bottom line is that it is long overdue. It is one of those things that we must accept. We are only subsidizing the rich. You watching me now, I doubt if you drive a V6 engine. I doubt if you have 15, 20 cars in your fleet. Therefore, if it's just our normal generator, these are, yes, it's going to be painful, but at the long run, let the person who drives V6 or V8, V12 or whatever, let him go and pay for the money. If 1 liter is 350, 400 or whatever, let him go and pay for it so that he would understand. But now, the money that is supposed to be used in doing the things that ought to benefit us as common people is being plunged into this unending sack that consumes virtually everything that comes in there.
Whenever I am seen to criticize, I simply speak to the best of my understanding and try to advise and try to say that which I think is in the interest of the country. I have been critical of economic policies, and I've paid a price for it. But the real price is being paid by the Nigerian people. It is a price we see in increased poverty. It's a price we see in increased insecurity. It's a price we see in a high rate of inflation. It's a price we see in the loss of the value of our currency. It's a price we see in the numbers around malnutrition, around unemployment, around out-of-school children, maternal mortality, and infant mortality. Calling me controversial or calling me an enemy or calling me a critic will not make those facts go away. And wherever we go, we must turn around and face those facts and that reality. So, am I happy on my 60th birthday? No. Because 60 years ago, when I was born, the United States government's advisory was telling investors that Nigeria had a better economic future than Japan. Where are we today and where is Japan? It's not about one government, it's not about two governments, it's about decades of a people throwing away opportunities. And every time we are handed an opportunity to change, every time we are given a chance to reset, we go back to the same old thing. Like the French say, plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose.
Plus, part of the problem. In 2015, you had a chance to make things different. You chose to go. You chose to go back to the old order, and here we are. Everybody now is everybody's now is now a cry baby. So Now, that's on the political side. People done and dusted. Let's come to something very, I don't know if I should call it funny. Honestly, I don't know how to equate it, but the what's it called? The guy from Onitsha, Odumeje, Odumeje, made a video, and I didn't want to talk about it, but when Arise aired it today, and the things they said cracked me up, and I said, okay, I'll use that clip as well. Odumeje is now fighting with Pastor Chris Okotie, and the following happened. Just enjoy it.
Of Mountain of Holy Ghost Intervention and Deliverance Ministry, Chukwuemeka Ohanemere, aka Odumeje Ndaboski, has carpeted Pastor Chris Okotie over his recent comments on the late TB Joshua. Now, late TB Joshua, who was the founder of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, died on the 6th of June, and Okotie, the senior pastor of the Household of God Church International Ministries, had described TB Joshua as a deceptive magician in a recent video. However, reacting to Okotie's comments, the popular Onitsha-based cleric in the now viral video described Okotie as a possessed man who is suffering from insanity.
Okay, so before we get to the response of the team in the studio, can you do me a favor? We have over 500 people watching across our social media platforms, and very, 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 very few, only 35 people just like this video. Why, I may ask? Please do us a favor. Because of the suppression happening on and across the social media platform, just do us a favor by clicking the like button. Make it on blue. Facebook, Periscope, and on YouTube as well. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. I beg you. Should I remove my cap before you do? I can do for you as well, you know. And as well, many of you who may wish, the super chat is still very, very active. But again, I thank you once more for joining me. Yes, 5 people just like the video. Only 5 people. Okay, 5 people. The next 100 people will get Onye.t t-shirt. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so people, now this is what, the intro about Odumeje. Now the following then is their responses. I would show us the video of Odumeje as well.
Well, Kachi, I thought beefs were the preserve of rappers, not pastors. This is quite shocking to me. And the only hope that I have for this situation, or should I use the Christian parlance, the only redemption that's possible here is if Pastor Okotie does not respond, if they both come to a place of personal repentance, they should go read the book of James that talks about conflict within the church, and they should mend relationship and really help the church's witness to the society and, restrain from this kind of carpeting, as you put it.
Well, Pastor Chris Okotie referred to the late Pastor Temitope Joshua as the wizard at Endor, and he was describing him as a fake prophet. This rivalry among these Pentecostal pastors has been there even during the lifetime of Pastor Temitope Joshua. But what I find shocking is that the lion himself, that's Pastor Odumeje,
in the Boski Bahos, the liquid metal, Arab organ filling station, Abi Arab organ express, and Angusigana filling station, the liquid metal. Cha 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 cha.
Boski Pahose, as he describes himself, was talking about violence. He said if he sees Okotie, he will slap him, give him a dirty slap to correct his senses, and that if he tries to challenge him, he will kill him. What happened to those passages in the Bible that talk about, forgiveness, about loving your neighbor as yourself, about turning the other cheek? Now we have reached a point in Nigerian Christendom that you have a pastor who says he's the lion, he's in the Boski Pahose, and that he doesn't forgive people. Anybody?
Ruben Abati also add there, he's also the liquid metal. The liquid metal, don't forget. Please.
He will kill the person. I find it very strange. I don't know what, they do in some of these churches. Okay, well, I think we have to go, Kachi. Thank you very much indeed.
You know, you see, one thing is some of these, the way they were, somebody said here, Ngozi Joy says the way Pastor Chris was analyzing. Some of you, you have to pay bribe to enter heaven. Oh dear. So now, but this is what Odumeje said here that really cracked me. This is what Odumeje said, and endeavor not to laugh, because if you laugh, you have to like the video 50 times. So please don't laugh.
You. I am a war terrible man when it comes for spiritual. You have been making this noise for a long time. Know when the great man TB Joshua Emmanuel have go to rest, then you cannot allow their family to mourn him. There is a woman there. There is the children of this man. When we talk about your story, you are not even what you call yourself. You are. Who are you in the kingdom? What have you done? Nothing that you have offered. You have never healed mosquito. Chris Okotie, you have never killed mosquito. And with the regent in power that dealt with impossible and make it possible, and you open up your mouth talking about spirituality and analyzing and talking.
Please pardon me, Aqua. This analyzing. How can we be over analyzing this thing? Oh dear. These guys are comedians, I tell you.
One English is not our own language. Brother, you are a Yoruba man. We know you are. I don't know. Is it a Yoruba man? Eh? I don't think he's a Yoruba man. Eh? You are a Doma. I know your language. You don't exist. When it comes for the kingdom of power, nobody knows you. What we know you is one issue or the other with your family. Go and deliver yourself first before you come out to discuss about spiritual. Who are you? Don't say that I did not warn you. Allow the spirit to rest. Any noise from you again, you will never like yourself.
Thank God. Oh dear. I think I've laughed so hard actually. Oh, we are analyzing. The analyzing of this thing is too much, man. Jeez, I'm sweating. Yes, so English is not our language. English is not our language. Some of you watching me from London, English is not our language. So you should. So somebody said, please interpret what he said. I don't know what you want me to interpret, but he spoke in English. Eh? Are you happiness more? Actually, at this point, I think Odumeje, I was angry with Sanusi, but I think Odumeje has lifted.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we're happiness more, isn't it?
Are you happiness more now? Inshallah, Odumeje has made us happiness more. Now, but that is not the issue. The issue that, the next issue I'm about to address is you have Odumeje talking in this manner. Forget the messenger, look at the message. It brought to mind what Chris Okotie actually said in 2018 towards 2019. And that's why I said, does God actually speak to most pastors or men of God? Chris looked everybody in the eyes on his church, in his church, and said that God told him to write a letter to APC and PDP that they should make him their presidential, adopt him as their presidential candidate. God told him. So God is now drunk. That after he says something, it just ends like that. Or he is the one, is he the one that was drunk that did not hear from God? You think I'm kidding you? Listen to him.
Nigeria needs a man who is credible, dependable, and trustworthy. A God-fearing man who is embroidered with compassion and love for country. A few days ago, the Lord asked me to write a letter to the chairman of the PDP and the chairman of the APC.
You know, he said a few days ago, the Lord asked me to write a letter. Then he said, you see, as an elder, as Onyebo, when I bring out my white chalk, that clearing of throat invalidates everything. He just confirmed that he was basically lying. Because there is never a time God will ask you to write a letter to PDP and APC, and you wrote that letter, you didn't even get any reply. Again, for many of you who are joining me now, please quickly like this stream. Please like the video. We still have less than over 600 people. Yet we have only 49 people that have liked this video. Kilo seller people, kilo happen. Huh? What's in the happen? Please like, just make it turn blue. Let other people see this stream. Share this stream as well. Now, if you compare what Chris is saying, it's not far-fetched from what Tunde Bakari is saying. And all of them are referencing the same God. And I'm now thinking, when their brain and their ego, their inner thinking tells them something, please, all these pastors, stop bringing God into it. Respect him enough. It is better, and it would have been better if Chris had said at that point, I think that the APC and PDP should give me their ticket, and this is my reason. But when you make it God said, there is never a time God will say and it will, that you can disobey. I told us experience that I once had at Osho, the bus stop, in the year 1999. I stood there, at night, coming from Ireland, stopped there. I needed to go down to Salid. I felt like somebody tapped me at the back. I did like this. I saw no one. And I had, that one is not decent. I said, this man coming, give him 100 naira for transportation. I just looked at the man. He had a book, but I just kept quiet. But the man walked up to me. He said, brother, please, can I beg you ask you something? I said, don't, because I have told to give you 100 naira. And the moment I handed him that money, that 100 naira, you can see tears drop. So whatever it was, I don't know. But equally, if assuming I'm a pastor, maybe I'll fit do job for people. Tell them say, nah. I don't know what spoke to me, but at least I'm not saying what I'm trying to say is I'm not saying that there are these spiritual things don't exist, but please, these people should stop making fools of yourself by the manner and the way you people go about these things. Oh, God said, God said, God said. God is telling you, Bakari, that is going to be the next president. God is telling you, go and tell APC and PDP. So you think the Bola Ahmed Tinubu will agree after spending so much time, energy, and resources building something up, he comes and because God told you, he hands it over. Nah. Whether our brains are just being used for popcorn, I don't know. But again, this is what somebody in the year 2018 is saying that God told him PDP and APC should make him. But even that letter he wrote, I don't even think that he got a reply. Listen to
the letter.
Go ahead.
For country. A few days ago, the Lord asked me to write a letter.
God did not ask him to call them on the phone. He did not ask him to do whatever, to say it publicly, but to write them a letter. Now, to know that God is not even in it, that letter was never replied because that time, Adam Soshomole, the khaki wearing former APC Viagra mounted chairman, would have laughed himself off, would have thought to himself, man, have you seen this level of mummuness? But here he is saying that God told him to write them a letter. How can God tell him to write them a letter and God didn't confirm it to whoever was receiving it? Go
To
ahead. Now.
the chairman of the PDP and the chairman of the APC,
You clear through.
asking them not to field any presidential candidates and that they should adopt me as their consensus candidate. My mandate, therefore, will be to set up an interim government which I have christened Government of National Reconciliation and Reconstruction.
Okay, government. They didn't even reply the letter, and he was already constituting a government of national unity. Blah blah blah. Anyway, that's how they do karo karo with our brain. Now, I'm finally here. I am now at this last phase of my conversation. I want to make it compressed so that it doesn't take so much time. So, people, here it's about Afghanistan. Afghanistan has fallen in the hand of the rebels. Well, you may call them rebels, you may call them anything you want, but Afghanistan has fallen in the hands of those whom America have kept and her allies have kept at bay since about 20 years now. How did that happen? What are the similarities we can draw with Nigeria? These are Islamic fundamentalists, no doubt. These are people who wanted to take over this territory, no doubt. Are you seeing any similarity with Nigeria? I understand. I have read so many arguments where people say, no, we cannot compare it with Nigeria. They have an army that was infiltrated. The moment they advanced, the army left their military wares and ran. Does that sound like something that ever happened in Nigeria? Maybe the only thing that actually might prevent that from happening in Nigeria is the secularness, the secular nature of Nigeria, where you have people who are Christians, you have people who are of other religion who are not sympathetic to this cause, you have people who are from other ethnic nationalities within the army that may not allow such to happen. But if what you do continues, where certain people only heads certain strategic sections in the army, where strategic decisions are made, sadly, you might begin to eventually see that something like this one cannot say that it will be far-fetched from happening. Now, look at this video. You see for the first time how people are trying to leave Afghanistan. People are just basically everything possible they can hold up. Look at this scene. You can imagine where people are this desperate. Now, this one, I'm going to play this video for us directly. Hold on. I'm going to play this directly from BBC website, right? So quickly, let me play this video for us. I mean, that video got me today. It got me. That video that I'm about to play got me. I have never, ever seen a thing like this. I have never watched. These are fellow human beings. Look. So, like I said, I have never seen such a scene before. It is honestly mind boggling to note that something like that was possible. You look at how people, no one is talking about boarding pass anymore. Nobody's, all these boarding pass, ID, whatever. Even the plane itself fit carry attachment. You might lapping, people will probably will be lapping themselves. No one is talking about, listen, people, war. No one is talking about wristwatch, laptop. And you saw people just, they had was what they wore. None of them had any form of luggage. This is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It's Nigeria learning. It's Nigeria learning. When the people are calling, that you ask them, you bring them on a round table to speak to one another and decide how they want to govern this nation. Reinforce them, bring them close, extract their commitment to fight this monster. Buhari, if you're not taking note, what we have seen in Afghanistan, what the Taliban are doing in Afghanistan, I'm not drawing any conclusion, but if my memory and if my sensitivity serves me right, it's not far fetched. There was a time, obviously, I think that was a movie and some, areas where some of these insurgents took some emir's palace actually and converted into whatever they want. The other time we were told that they were coming close to Niger State. I'm not saying they are coming close to your seat of power in Abuja, but it is time before the final straw. Speak to the landowners of Nigeria. Speak to the indigenous people of Nigeria. There must be a solution. Whatever is happening in Afghanistan is scary, and I say it is scary, scary. Watch this last video. See how these people, they took over the presidential office. They turned it, there was this picture I once saw how baboons were able to take hold of a car. I think that was in South Africa. And sadly, they just clustered all over the car, but the car couldn't move because they do not have an idea how to move that car. And that's what this video brought to mind. By no iota of imagination am I saying that the Taliban lack the capacity to. I know some of you would also argue that the Taliban are not as evil as they've been painted by the Western imperialists. Of course, that's a school of thought, but that doesn't mean it is right or wrong. But at the end of the day, any system that suppresses certain gender, any system that suppresses others, having a view opinion is for me not a system that I want to be associated with in any way, shape, or form. Now let's watch this clip. Now, for those who doesn't know, this is the presidential palace. The president ran away when these guys advanced. Now they are now sitting anyhow. That's why there was a time I was what's this guy called? Lazarus Moka. What's this his church? There was a time I saw them rolling in Opotapoto, and I started looking at them. If you're rolling in Opotapoto and you're here, messing yourself up, if eventually you get to heaven, you cannot even qualify to be a toilet. Had the Lord choosing. Thank you, Joy. So when I saw such a video, I said, when you get to heaven, you cannot even qualify to be a toilet cleaner. Because why? How can you be rolling on a potopoto in the earth and you want to go and live with gold? Now look at these people. See how they are basically now coming here. Some of them on the floor, and honestly, I shudder to think of what this nation could become in the next 5 to 10 years. I shudder to think of it. Presidential palace. This is presidential palace. Look at them. This one is there picking his nose. Look at the other one eating bread. Look at the other one putting up his foot on the chair. This one on the floor eating bread. Look at it. All the crumbs are dropping everywhere. The gun is there. I don't talk my own. Nigeria, whoever is close to look at this one, the one in blue. Just putting his leg on that. Look at that beautiful handcrafted chair. Whoever knows the president will send him this video. Please, this must be a lesson for Nigeria. This must be a lesson for Nigeria. Again, everyone, thank you very much for joining me. Please, please, I beg you, subscribe to this channel and click on the like button. One of the reasons why you should subscribe is whenever I come online, at least you get a notification that I'm here online. On that is, trying to be 1 hour, 15 minutes, and I think I've achieved that. So I take 1 or 2 of your questions, then we call it a day. Thank you very much, everyone. Once more, I'm still Miles. Okay. You're joining me here, live and direct. Now, which lesson? The president is one of some of you. They should be left to deal with their problem. You stop using taxpayers' money. Honestly, you see, I agree with you actually, Kachi Echem. Somewhat, I honestly want to let them, if they want to be cutting their hands, let them cut their hands in their own nation. But the challenge we have here is when it comes to such is if people don't necessarily intervene, it's about the exportation of terror to other countries. It's just like saying in Nigeria now, allow them to kill themselves in Borno, in all those places ravaged by bandits and all the rest. Who told you that if they finish those areas, they won't come down to you as well, even when you think you're safe there? So who told you that if given the free hand to, do whatever they want to do, that you in the West, you in America, in Germany, even in Nigeria, that you are going to be safe? We have seen it. Oh, we don't like the strong man Gaddafi. We don't like him. Gaddafi was taken out. We have seen the consequences of killing Gaddafi. That's how the whole region, the whole route, becomes a route to now begin to smuggle ammunitions, heavy weapons, and here the consequences are that we have what we have in the Sahel and ECOWAS sub-region as well. While one would question why the imperialists would actually have ventured there be an issue, but again, the way it has happened is, if not, people will begin to ask, well, what? I mean, it's neither here nor there. Honestly, I would want to allow them do whatever they want, but the challenge, the only issue I have is if the only issue I have is the exploitation of terror. That's all. If there is a way they can really, really have their way. Listen, the men want to be moving around like a Ojuju masquerade. Bring it on. It's your own. Don't visit my country. Stay in your own country. If the women want to even sew Odudubariba and wear, use it as their passport as well. Go ahead, as long as you stay home. But again, that is total isolation because everybody isolates you. It gets worse. We've seen how beautiful the lives of North Koreans are comparatively to their brothers and sisters and kith and kins in South Korea. At the end of the day, people, it's neither here nor there. And I thank you once more for joining me this evening. It's been a pleasure to have you all this while. And join us, join the press conference tomorrow, 11 o'clock in the morning, 11 a.m. Nina is having their press conference, which will be broadcasted here live on the Media TV. The tomorrow is the expiration of the 100 days they've given the federal government to react. So let's see what they're going to do tomorrow. We never know. My own is to listen and see if anything they will say or do. So join me tomorrow, 11 o'clock. That will be here. Abaji Nixon says, I need the dot t-shirt. Please kindly send me a WhatsApp message with the number with the Njenje Media number that you see on screen now, or you do an email on njenjemedia.com, please. An email to njenjemedia.com, or you send it to the numbers +234 708 004 2206. So we can take that conversation offline. But the mesh shop is coming on stream. Hopefully before the end of this week, the mesh shop will come on stream. That many of you in the diaspora can also order your own. Some of them are now have the hoodies. The hoodies are being designed, and once that is all completed, they will go live, and you can suit yourself with which color, size, whatever you want to do with it. So once more, the number Njenje Media is the number is on screen. You can send an email at njenjemedia@gmail.com. That same email address is still the one you use for PayPal in case you want to do any PayPal payment. And you can send a WhatsApp message on +234 708 004 2206. On that note, before I finish, finally, I would say any of you who wish to advertise can also contact us on these handles, on these either email address, the Twitter, Facebook, or on the telephone number. We will be glad to speak with you and take your advert on either on our videos or on our website, news blog website, njenjemedia.com, where you only read confirmed and authenticated information. On that note, I'll say thank you once more for being my guest this evening, and have a wonderful day.